It's October the 2nd, 2025, and I thought I would check out the foliage above Maggie Valley in western North Carolina. This is about 45 minutes from home, and I thought I would get a jump on it. It's a little bit early in the season, but some of our leaves at the higher elevations start to change colors around 4,000 feet, a lot earlier than they do down in Asheville, which is around 2,000 feet. In Maggie Valley, I stopped off for breakfast at Joey's Pancake House. I had breakfast with Murray and Tony, who are two Canadians touring the U.S. on motorcycles. Thank you for breakfast and great conversation. I hope you have a great rest of your ride. And hopefully the clouds, as they're starting to burn off a little bit now, we'll get some better views of the foliage and hopefully see some more wildlife. I'd love to grab some elk today, but we'll see what we see. Alright, we're at Wolf Laurel Gap. This is where the turn to Heintooga Road is. This also takes you up past the Masonic Monument. We'll take a look at that on the way up as well. Hey, what do you know? Another open gate. Thank goodness. Okay, right here, we just passed through an intersection that we passed through on Jenkins Creek Run. That's where you come down from the Mile High Campground, continuing on below where the water crossing is near the end of the ride. Not this ride, but the Jenkins Creek ride. Elk crossing. Okay, let's see. I have seen elk up here before. It's always been kind of odd hours. Super early or right in the middle of the afternoon. Doesn't seem to really matter that much. So we'll see. Might find some grazing. On the left is Mile High Campground. So driving up here today was an opportunity I wasn't really expecting. I hadn't really done my research. I did not quite expect the leaves to be as far along as they are. Down in Asheville, the leaves haven't really changed much. There's just a little bit of evidence that it's beginning. But I decided to hit the Blue Ridge Parkway for this little tour today. And my plan was to go down on Jenkins Creek Road, which I led during Jeep Fest earlier this year. I was rather disappointed whenever I got about a half mile down the road to a sign saying that it was restricted access per the Cherokee Tribe. I have not done my research yet to figure out exactly what that means, if it's paid access or off limits unless you're a member of the tribe. But either way, I didn't get a chance to drive that road, and that was a real bummer. That would have been a great road for the fall foliage. Well, this is actually pretty good too, taking the parkway that's accessible from Highway 19 south of Maggie Valley. And then once you're on the parkway, you'll go toward the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. You'll pass the Masonic Monument and head on up to a campground where the Heintooga Round Bottom Road starts at a gate on a gravel road. Unfortunately, that gate was closed as well, so we topped out at about 5,300 feet, and I really noticed a significant change in the leaves once we got to about 4,000 feet. So the full name of this road is the Heintooga Ridge Road. But at this point, this is a paved road with good views. And when I get to the end, I'm definitely going to make sure the clouds clear up before I come back to take advantage of some of those views. Right now, we're in the clouds, which is fine too. Hey, if you're in Western North Carolina, you can't lose with the Parkway. You know, there's other places off-road that would be great. Unfortunately, most of them are closed in WNC thanks to the hurricane still. I might go check out Shelton Laurel when the trees actually turn a little bit more, but we'll see about that. I do have a video on that from, I believe, June, from when I led that one back in Jeep Fest last year, and also a preview when we pre-ran that trail a little bit earlier in 2025. Another forestry gravel road in the vicinity of Brevard, North Carolina would be Pinnacle Mountain Road. That's always a nice little drive, and I'm sure it's pretty in the fall as well. I do have a video of that road. I believe that's from the summer of last year. And east of Asheville, there's the Linville Gorge and Old Highway 105. That's a great road any time of the year, especially in fall. Great place to camp if you can actually snag a campsite, first come, first serve. I hope you enjoy this little preview of the Blue Ridge Parkway color, and hopefully this inspires you to go find a place where you can find some really good fall colors in your area. So enjoy the drive, and I'll just have limited narration from here on out. All right, so this is the Great Smoky Mountain National Park entrance, Balsam Mountain access. And right here is actually what's known as the Masonic Monument. Masonic marker. There you go. right, so the Heintooga Round Bottom Road is closed. So that would take you to Cherokee, 28 miles down the road. Is it 28? Yeah. There's a one-way out and back. I'll definitely be coming back for that when it is open. So this looks like this is the place where I'm going to have to turn around. So the clouds are finally starting to clear. So we'll get some good views from the overlooks. And near the bottom, actually about a quarter of the way from the bottom, is the turnoff to Mile High Campground. So what I'm actually going to do, instead of driving back to the parkway on this road, I'm going to hop over to Jenkins Creek and hit that water crossing on the way out. That was a road that I led on the Western North Carolina Jeep Fest weekend. I have a video on that as well if you'd like to check it out. I'll try to remember to put a card in here so you can link to it. I'll have to say the fall foliage, I'll have to say the fall color up here is a lot better than I anticipated, so this is a welcome surprise. Only one turkey on the wildlife list today so far, but that'll have to do. Some turkeys. Not sure if that was in the frame, but I had about 6 turkeys off the left and a chipmunk. Just ran across there. I can hear it already. If you would just slow down, you'd see more animals. Probably true. When I head down the Jenkins Creek Road, it's a gravel road, pretty well maintained. Definitely not paved like this, but it'll be a little tighter in the trees, and I think maybe some more color in there too. I just knew when I ran Jenkins Creek this summer that this would be a great place to come for fall color. And so far, this has been an early season surprise. But these leaves usually drop first anyway, way before we do the foliage thing in the Asheville area. And a few more turkeys up ahead. Up on the left. Well, this is the Lake Junaluska Overlook, and looks a lot like clouds. Clouds have gotten a little thick again, so I'm going to pull off at the Mile High Overlook. Wait for it to clear a little bit. That's actually a really good vantage point. This is not Mile High, it's the next one up. This is the Maggie Valley view, looking down at 3,000 feet from 5220. And not going to get a view yet this morning. Let's go over to Mile High and see what it looks like. It's right across the street. Pretty socked in as well. Anyway, I'm going to sit here for a bit, see if I can see if it's going to open up. Actually, there's a few views. Not too shabby. Okay, there's Mile High Campground, the main entrance. And we'll meet back up with the Jenkins Creek access at the gate just below this hill here. At the continuation of this road past the gate to Jenkins Creek is a really great mountain view on typical days. Although it's a little bit misty and cloudy up here today, I don't think we're going to get that wide open shot. But if we do, it's a bonus. So the Jenkins Creek Road will be a little bit of dirt, which is what I was really looking forward to today. I didn't think I'd actually make the transition over to the Jenkins Creek Road, but just makes sense. All right, to the left is Jenkins Creek. To the right is Mile High Campground, and that mountain view is right in front of us. I'm going to drive up here real quickly and see if I can give you an idea what that looks like. All right, this is the Mountain to Sea Trail, Jenkins Creek overlap. Here we go. Here comes the sun. Getting a little bit of sun breaking through the clouds is really a motivator, not just to blast through here. Plus, just having the opportunity to come up here and have the whole place to myself is also a good reason not to blast through here. And dip under the Blue Ridge Parkway. Mountain to Sea Trail kicks off to the left. That's the white round trail marker there. That's a new sign. Access restricted to enrolled members applies to all motor vehicles and ORVs per Cherokee Code. Well, looks like we're not going to do the rest of Jenkins Creek. Have to Austin Powers it. Okay, well, we tried. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down Jenkins Creek on the other side, see if that's accessible, and just take that instead of driving the parkway and calling it quits. I still have a little bit of extra time. So carry a map, know your area. Those are great. Navigation controls, well, I don't know how many times I've opened up Onyx out of cell phone coverage and it needed to update. So I'm not going to rely on that. I usually run Gaia on my phone in landscape mode and Onyx on my dash. A little bit of redundancy there. So let's see what Mile High is like. See if we can go down that way. Okay, fingers crossed. And looks like Jenkins Creek is a no-go. And I'm trying to take the high road. I'm supposed to take the low road. The high road is the paved access from the other side, where the red Mile High Campgrounds sign is. This is shared access with the Mountain to Sea Trail here. Again, indicated by the white circular blazes. I'm going to go left here momentarily because the Plot Balsam Overlook is just down the road here, just a little bit. And that'll get me a, hopefully, nice open view. Before we have to hit the end of the parkway and back on the road. Well, looks like the clouds have other plans. So I made a little bypass to get to the Lickstone Overlook and head back by the Plot Balsam Overlook on my way out. Hopefully the clouds have lifted. Maybe. We'll see. All right, here's Junction 19. If I go to the right, that would be Cherokee. If I go up here to the left, no, still to the right, exit past the bridge, takes me to Maggie Valley. So that's northbound 19 for Maggie Valley.